tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming to you with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Hot Toys MMS 200, the Man of Steel Superman. And much like what we got with the Jor-El figure a little bit ago, the packaging nicely replicates a background scene, but instead of Krypton, it seems like it's the Arctic. Really nice though. You can see that it says it's a collector edition, which I really think just means that as part of their celebration of this being their 200th movie masterpiece series, they include a gift of the Kryptonian command key, which I'll show here in a little bit. But nice packaging. You can see that the Superman logo, or the House of El, whatever you want to refer to it as, has this nice textured look. You can't really see it on camera, but when you feel it, it's nice and smooth. And even the top section here is nice and smooth, and then it comes down and then it's rough. You got that same Superman logo here on the side, which sort of disappears. Maybe I can get this one to disappear. Sort of disappears when you get it in the light the right way in. I'm not going to be able to do it, but you can see really nice wraparound image here. Absolutely love it. Come around here to the back, you got the various warnings, and this is one of those magnetic cases, much like the Jor-El one, where you open it up, and on the inside you have the cast and the crew, as well as an open face package here displaying the actual figure itself. Now, as I said, you can kind of see it. It's the Kryptonian command key. It's a celebration gift. They make it sound like it's a gift, but at $200, I really think that you're still actually paying for it. But one thing I will say, I mean, I love the box on here. It's really very nice. This, like I said, is a $200 figure. It is cheaper than Jor-El, and I think it should be, because this definitely comes with a lot less in terms of accessories. But that's about it for the packaging on it. So without further ado, let's get this open and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Superman open up and out its packaging. And the figure is absolutely terrific. Some people have previously criticized me because I wasn't all that big of a fan of the movie, and that's not 100% accurate. Most people that have talked to me privately, I've explained it. And maybe I guess it's time that I do a full review of the movie. So I guess if anybody would like to see something like that, go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know what you would think down in the video, or in the comment section. But regardless of what I think of the movie, I really thought that all the actors, Henry Cavill, Kevin Costner, Russell Crowe, all of them, I thought they did a terrific job in the roles that they were given. And I think that Henry Cavill can be a phenomenal Superman. He's got the physique, he's got the look, everything about him just screams Superman. And Hot Toys has done a phenomenal job of recreating that look. I've said it time and time again that a lot of times we don't get a full appreciation for the costume that these actors are wearing until we get these figures. And that's absolutely true with this Superman. Now, starting off first, taking a look at his accessories, in addition to the 2 fists that he has currently on him, he also comes with 3 additional pairs of hands. 2 that are sculpted in a very flying kind of look and pose, 2 that are just kind of generic, relaxed hands, and then 2 that are more action-oriented. I really don't know what you would do with these. It's not like you can use the Force to push you away or something, but I mean, this would definitely be a nice pair of hands to use, like if you wanted to pose him where he was screaming and he had his hands above his head, like, ah, something like that. So you do get that. You also do get 2 additional pegs, and you get this, which, if you didn't know what this was when it was just sitting there, you might not actually have any kind of clue. This is a 1/6 scale version of the Kryptonian command key, which is what you have here. This thing, I have no idea how I'm going to be able to show it to you, so let's try zooming in. This thing is ridiculously tiny, and honestly, something that will probably go back into storage just because I'm going to be terrified of losing it. You can sort of see, if I get the light hitting it a little bit better, you can sort of see the Superman logo, or the House of El. Again, like I said, this is a 1/6 scale representation of it. This is very unimpressive, if you ask me. I love the fact that they included it. I mean, it's a nice touch, but I can't for the life of me count this little thing as an accessory. I mean, yes, he can. You can't even really have him hold it in his hand. I mean, it's like a little stogie or something.
That's basically what it is like. So there's that. Now, the real nice piece is the 1-to-1 scale version that you can see a much nicer Superman or House of L logo there. You got a lot of the extra details going through here. You can see the jagged lines, which really does give a very key sort of look and feel to this. This is a wonderful piece. It is metal, which is also very nice, but again, the one thing that I don't particularly like is the fact that this is dubbed as a gift. To me, you're still paying for this. At a $200 figure, this is still something that you're paying for, in my opinion. If you take this away, and I can't even, like I said, I can't even count that as an accessory. If you take this away, I honestly think that the price would reduce on the figure. So it's kind of weird. I love having it. Don't get me wrong. This is a really cool piece, and honestly makes me, as a Transformer fan, really want to get a shard of the Allspark just to kind of have that as a prop replica. But this is a cool piece. I really dig it. I like it. But I don't feel as if this is just a freebie that we're getting. And finally, as you can see, he also does come with the display stand, which, other than the color, is identical to what we got with Jor-El. Kind of lifting this up, you can see, holding these two side by side, this is the more bronze color that we saw on Jor-El's outfit, whereas this has the coloring for Superman, which looks really good. But is identical. It does, instead of saying Jor-El, say Superman, still says Man of Steel, and it still has the dynamic posable pillar. That comes in really handy. But again, the base is really very large. Even if you got the a separate one, I mean, this is their generic one. You can see that the generic one is actually bigger almost than what we got with the Superman one, because you got this whole back section. So I still love them. And for Superman, I think it's absolutely necessary so that you can get some really cool poses with them. But I wish that the footprint was a little bit smaller. I can kind of understand why you would want to have a more large base. If you're going to do crazy poses with the actual flexible pillar, you're going to want something that's more balanced on the ground to offset the figure when it's hanging there. So I do understand it, but I do find myself wishing that it had a smaller footprint, just because in my details, I like having 3 to 4 figures per. With this, in, for example, Jor-El's in one of the details, I can only get those two basically. So while I love it and I think it's a terrific addition, again, I feel it's not really necessary. Now, coming to the figure himself, as I said previously, I really think that Hot Toys did a wonderful job of capturing the suit from the movie. There's so many subtle little differences that we see here on the actual costume that really gives you more of an appreciation of what he was wearing. Now, that being said, I still have a fairly, well, I don't want to say big problem, but fairly big nitpick when it comes to this. As a 1/6 scale figure, you would expect him to be a certain height. Now, setting him to the side, and for reference, Henry Cavill is listed as 6'1", which kind of makes me feel good because I'm taller than he is. But when you compare him to the Christopher Reeve Superman, who also in the 1/6 scale represented Christopher Reeves at his very tall 6'4" frame, you can see where I have a problem. Now, a lot of people don't necessarily have the same problem, but if these are 1/6 scale, the figures really should be reversed. I mean, you stand them face to face and you can really see a big size difference. And that's something that bugs me. One thing about Superman was he was always a very tall person, so that's one of the reasons why I really thought that Christopher Reeves did a great job as him. But the body that they used for the Man of Steel Superman, I just feel is way too tall. The other thing that you're kind of noticing, just standing him as close to possible, or next to as possible, it really looks like he's got a very long torso. I mean, like from here, like if you go from his armpit to his crotch, I mean, there's a big difference there. Proportionately, the body doesn't look right, I don't think, and it really throws me off. That's one of the biggest things that really drives me nuts. Now, granted, this is an older figure. For a little bit more of a modern size comparison, here he is next to Jor-El. And Russell Crowe's listed at about 5'11". So this size doesn't look all that bad, I don't think. But you can definitely see that father and son don't look all that close in terms of resemblance. But the costume on here, though, really is outstanding. The body might be a little off, but the costume is phenomenal. One thing that I am kind of bummed out about is you come around here and you look at the cape. It's very nice, very flowing, and very layered. I got one that's going to need some ironing here just to make it flow a little bit better, I think, but it doesn't look all that bad. But you can see a wonderful texturing on this suit. And you're also seeing that there is a little bit of extra. When you have it completely straight down, you can see that there is a little bit of here, so that you can really get a nice range of motion with it without causing any kind of stress on the actual fabric. But the fabric on here is really very nice. It is a stretchy kind of fabric. It's similar to what we got with Spider-Man. One thing that I do dig is how the texturing on the actual suit carries over on the emblem. I think that's wonderful looking. The emblem is a little bit low. One thing that I do notice is I think it should be a little bit higher, closer to his neckline, but that's a minor nitpick. And then you do have to twist things around a little bit to keep the I guess the buckle here in the center. There have been criticisms about him not wearing the underwear. I guess that's never really bugged me much because it's a aspect of Superman I've gotten very used to. But I do like how they kept a design here really very nice. It goes around here to the actual back of his suit as well. But really nice image that's printed on the side, comes down and wraps around his legs. Really very cool. And then you got a very nice boot design which carries over the same pattern on the rest of the suit. And then you can see right here on the bottom, he actually has a flat bit here, so it helps him stand a little bit better. And then you can see actually that around here, I don't know how well that's coming across. Oh, you can actually see it. This is a little bit more reflective around here. I really do dig that. He does have wrist guards, which are just part of the suit itself. Now that's a little bit different than what we're used to, but it's still terrific. And then the sculpt on him, I really think looks good. I mean, for me, that is a very nice recreation of Henry Cavill. It really absolutely looks like him. The eyes are really thoughtful, very Superman looking. You got the nice cleft in his chin, very accurate. One thing that people have sort of nitpicked about is that his forehead looks a little bit big, but it doesn't bug me too terribly much. I guess that for me, I look at this as a bit of him flying, so his hair is flowing back as he's flying. It is weird seeing a Superman without the little lock of hair coming down, but again, that's just my personal affinity with the Christopher Reeve Superman. But really a great sculpt, and then staying zoomed in so that you can see the suit some. I mean, it's a gorgeous looking suit. I mean, you can really see the very reflective nature of it. You can see his abs in there and everything. Very reflective nature of his suit. I do dig it. I mean, it's an update that I think really works for the character, and it has a much more modern look to it. So I definitely give it an A+. Articulation wise, it's not as great as I wish it would be. It still has all the normal joints, but it is missing one that I think is very critical. Starting all the way down at the bottom of them, which is opposite than what I normally do, because I usually start with the head. The ankles do have a forward and back, but you do want to only go about 45 degrees. But what's cool is it does hold the pose, so I like that. That's very nice. So you can get a nice flying pose with this foot angled, and it's going to stay there. They rotate also at the boot. He has two joints here at the knee, come up to the hip. They move in and out, forward and back, and you can see how the suit does kind of bunch up when you flex him out or whatever, but it really nicely snaps back into shape. I really feel that the material on this is better than what we got with that Superman figure. So I really think that there's going to be a lot more durability in this suit. He also does rotate at the upper part of the thigh. He's got an ab crunch technically right above his abs, and then you got a little bit of a crunch here at the lower section. It rotates. When you do it, you can see that this harder rubber material on the suit, when you do bend it, it kind of makes him look like he's got a hip joint or hip bone popping out. So you do have that. It also does rotate at the upper part of the ab. So a lot of articulation there. The shoulders move up, down, in, out. They shift up and down a little bit. They rotate at the bicep. There's two joints at the elbow, so very nice range of motion. You got the wrists that move forward and back, and they rotate. Then we come to the head, and that's my biggest problem. His neck is all a very hard plastic, so and then you got that ball joint on the actual neck itself. That really bums me out because you can't, that's the highest you can go for getting him in a flying sort of pose. So you can't even get him really looking all the way up. You can kind of get something like that as he's flying. I guess that looks okay, but you can't get a full-on straight flying look for him. That's really the best you're going to do. You're going to have to angle his torso in order to get that as well. So, I mean, it is nice that that articulation is there in his torso to be allow you to do that, but I really wish that that neck joint was there to really get a nice dynamic flying pose with him, especially when you take into consideration that he comes with that dynamic flight stand. And in utilizing that flight stand, you can see, as I said, you can get some really nice poses. For me, I'm terrible at posing, so something like this where he's hovering there will be perfectly ideal for me. Other people have also complained about the lack of a wire in his cape. I do wish that he had that, but in keeping it off, if it creates a very nice, even flow when he's standing there. All in all, I really do like this figure and think it's a wonderful representation of what we got in the Man of Steel film. But personally, I don't give it as much praise as a lot of my other fellow collectors. There were just a lot of, well, not a lot, but there were a couple nitpicks with him that really, for me, keep him from being a simply stupendous figure. The height really does bug me, although it scales nicely with the Jor-El figure. I do think he should be a little bit shorter, honestly. The accessories really don't impress me. I love the flight stand, but as I said, it has a very big footprint, which makes displaying him a little bit of a chore to do. While I love the flight stand itself, I would have preferred just a regular display stand. And then if you want, have these just ones by themselves available to collectors if you wanted to buy it. I say cut that out, give us the standard adjustable cradle stand, and make the price a little bit better. Also, the accessories, like I said, while I love this piece, I really don't feel like it's a gift. And just in general, I don't feel this figure is a $200 figure. The sculpt is phenomenal. The suit is outstanding. But I'd be a whole lot happier if this figure was like $180. So I absolutely do still recommend them. But if you go through Sideshow Collectibles, a lot of times buying other figures, you get reward points. This is a figure that I would absolutely recommend using some of those reward points with. If you can knock the price off at $20, $25, I would absolutely pick this up. But that being said, if you are interested in getting them, go ahead and click on the link down in the video description where you'll go to Sideshow Collectibles and you can add this guy to your collection today. But beyond that, that's about it, guys. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Keep in touch with me. Find out recent purchases as well as all upcoming video reviews all at facebook.com/teambotimus and by following me over on Twitter at twitter.com/optibotimus. Also, don't forget to check out my new website at optibotimusreviews.com. And if you like this review, don't forget to please rate, subscribe, and share this video. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.